why do white people pay so much attention to black people if they don't like them? You would think if you didn't like something, why would you be paying attention to it? I don't pay attention to things I don't like. Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity.
I think white people are so triggered by black joy because they have zero control over it.
Hello brothers and sisters, I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you're watching me from now. Some of the white black folks are being threatened by the black success. Now, most of them cannot take it at this moment. Most of the people who used to earn undeserved privileges are now suffering from poverty, bankruptcy, and so many other things. So let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
No, we do not. We do not benefit from racism. Think about what you're saying. Racism is inherently antisocial. All human beings are pro-social human beings. All of us work best under pro-social conditions, including abusers and sociopaths. Having an antisocial diagnosis doesn't make an antisocial culture good for you. The only thing that's good for anybody is healthy, high emotionally intelligent culture. That's the only thing. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that was stolen from Native people. That insight he was having into what makes people truly healthy and happy, that didn't come from white people. It didn't come from racism. It didn't come from anybody who has a mindset that's so limited from racism that that's a mindset that can't know what's healthy. That's a mindset that struggles to perpetuate health. There is no health for white people in bigotry, in white supremacy, in racism, in sexism, in any of these, in patriarchy. Any toxic, unhealthy system is unhealthy for every participant, including, in fact, the abuser. Boundaries are good for abusers. That's actually being love and empathy to an abuser. Enabling does not help the abuser. I've said this and I'll continue to say it. I will say this forever. Abuse is also traumatizing to the abuser, not just the victim. The abuser doesn't get to walk away from the abuse experience without trauma. Just because they don't protest it doesn't mean it doesn't have a negative impact. Just because laws give white people the opportunity to oppress other people doesn't mean those laws are good for us. The cycle of abuse does not serve us long-term or really even short-term. Please tell me what in the world it does for someone to abuse another person. What does that do for you? Is your life suddenly better? No. Other people's blood doesn't make our lives better. No, it does make our lives better when everyone is empowered to be their best self, because then you know what happens when everyone's empowered to be their best self? All of those people with infinite amounts of power in them, because they're human beings, they're creators, they're infinite creators, they're incredibly, power doesn't come from anything more than people. When you empower people over oppress them, they contribute to society and the world gets better and your experience gets better. But when you oppress people, you don't get any of that. All you get is the deeper and deeper violence of the cult that's preventing health from happening. If white people continue to pursue white supremacy and oppression over equity, over freedom for all people, support, empowerment for all people, we will become a fascist state and we will become the victims of our own abuse cycle. We will see the Yazis, only they won't be in Germany this time. They will be here. That or something worse. Remember, the concentration camps were not just in Germany. There were camps all over Europe. The one in Poland was one of the worst. Look up the seventh fire prophecy. We end eugenics now or we're all done.
White parents, I don't know if y'all noticed this or not, but I'm black. I mean, even with this filter on, girl, I got all this color. So let me tell you something. When I tell you about taking care of your black kids' hair, it's coming from lived experience. On top of that, I actually went to school to be a cosmetologist. Then I went back for my crossovers, which means that I could have been a barber, chose not to because I wasn't good at it. And then I went back for my instructor's license. Actually, I said that out of order. It was cosmetology, instructor's license, then barbering. And I taught cosmetology and barbering. Anyway, because I'm in this beautiful black body, I kind of know what it feels like to live within this beautiful black body. And I'm raising a boy. So I kind of got an idea of what happens when you are unkempt. So despite the fact that y'all believe that trauma and diagnosis is enough of a reason not to take care of your child's hair, it's not. It's not. You're going to have to learn how to do it. Okay. And you not knowing how doesn't equate to just giving up.
Y'all have this weird obsession with trying to humble Black people when they're sharing their accomplishments. It's racist. You need to stop. You would never gaslight somebody who's not Black when they share their success. I don't need to be humbled. You need to be better.
I don't know if this is going to sound crazy or not, but someone being racist, like, does not affect me at all. Like, I actually don't care if you hate Black people. Like, I don't care. Like, of course, I think it's insane, like, people go around killing sprees because you hate someone for the color of their skin. Of course, that's insane. That will always be insane to me. Racism will always be insane to me. But I do not care about someone hating me for the color of my skin because, like, I love me. Like, God created me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the fact that you can't hate Black people and just going on about your business and stay away from them. Because if you truly did not like something or hated something so much, like, you would want to stay away from it and just, like, live your own life, mind your own business. But it's the fact that y'all care to go out of your way to make us uncomfortable, to go on killing sprees, to make us feel like we're animals, like we're not human beings, to make laws to suppress us, like systematic racism. Like, y'all go out of y'all way to make us feel uncomfortable. At the same time, like, hating us, paying so much close attention to us that no matter what we do, you copy. I don't think I've ever seen an obsession like this in my life. And in the same breath, call yourselves children of God, wear a cross over your neck, and swear you're so holy. Baby, if anything, like, I just think white people, well, not think, I know white people are, like, the farthest people away from God. Because if I know, like, me personally, I don't care for white people like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I was a person, if I say, like, oh, I hate white people, do you think, like, my video basically got cut off? But what I'm saying is that if I was a person that said I hated white people, I don't want to be around white people, do you think I'm going to talk about white people all the time, pay attention to what they're doing? Because we see what they're doing. They're going on killing sprees. They're constantly bothering Black people. Do you think if I said I hated white people, didn't want to be around white people, that I would find a way and fight my way into white spaces? No, obviously not. Because why? I don't want to fucking be over there. Y'all are exhausting as hell. Y'all are energy draining people. But see, y'all can't say y'all hate Black people and stay the fuck away from me. Like, if you hate me so bad because I'm dark skinned, because of my skin color, as if I had a one-on-one conversation with God about how to make me look like before I got conceived into my mother's womb, you're fucking insane. But you gotta go out of y'all way to, like, try to make Black people feel uncomfortable about being Black. That's how you know it don't have shit to do with our skin color. Every single, like, space of Black culture, like, where we could just hang around each other, love on each other, y'all will fight y'all way into. Like, when it came to TSU, y'all fight y'all way on that camp. How the fuck did y'all even get on campus to bother some Black students who didn't even care to be in y'all face? It's weird. It's weird. Y'all need to cut this shit out.
Okay, so I made that video earlier about how they saw us before we were considered humans to the other race, right? And in the comments, I seen a comment that said that there literally used to be human zoos, and that Benjamin Franklin literally wrote about in a satire way, right? And that immediately made me think about Sarah Bachman. If you don't know who she is, that was the woman who had the extremely big butt, that's very common now. Yo, auntie with them wild hips and that tabletop booty, yeah, that's how she was built. But they had her in a museum, like in a circus, like a freak show, right? And then when she died, they put her in the museum. After she died, her body was still in the museum. They just got her out the museum, within the last 10, 12 years, right? But then when they said that, it immediately made me think, y'all do understand, hate comes from two places. Hate and love is one side. It's two sides of the same coin. It's either love or it is obsession. They know that they cannot be us. And no, this is not and I'm very Black power, but this is not even a Black power thing. This is fact. They are so obsessed with us. When you was learning gynecology, you studied our bodies. You get what I'm saying? When Benjamin Franklin got them wooden teeth, he had slave teeth. You get what I'm saying? Y'all are always so fascinated with us, and y'all are so fascinated with us that y'all hate us because our genes, because our DNA, because our strength, because our agility, and it is scientifically and physically proven. That's what it is, y'all. They are so obsessed that it has caused a hatred. That's it. That is literally it. And there's so many people that will hear me and say that that's ignorant or say that that is false. But if you really look at the way that obsession works, if you look at the way that hatred works, I'm talking about like psychologically, down to a science. That is literally how it works. And that's what it is. And for the people that's going to say that this is not true and this is not absurd, y'all know that one TikTok sound that said, if you black, you never buy yourself because it's always a white person in your business. Do you know that that sound literally came from a white person being in black people's business, right? And then if you go to the sound, you will see how many white people are casually, actively in black people business. There's not a sound that say black people is always in white people business because black people is not always in white people business. I seen a video. I think it was in Paris, in France. It was some black women. They was singing in the street. It was not nobody down there where they was at. Do you know everybody came down, surrounded, recording, clapping? Guess what? They all white people. It's proven. You can walk outside today. Go, man, our hairstyles, edges is now sticky bangs. You get what I'm saying? Y'all don't own braids and we don't. But them cornrows and shit, yeah, bitch, that's us. Because we was literally running from y'all. You get what we saying? But it's literally proven. Like, if you look, it's there. And it's not hard to find. I guarantee you can go outside and see it right now today. One more example, the daguerreotypes, the ones that Harvard got sued for that are now in the African American Museum. Yeah, they had to fight this lawsuit, twice? They lost the first time and then had to sue again. What was it for? Emotional distress. But Harvard fought that lawsuit and then bought it again. Why are y'all fighting so hard to keep pictures of slaves that were literally found in y'all attic by a man that was cleaning? You get what I'm saying? Y'all, those were intended to never be seen again because they proved back then. Let me give y'all the history on the daguerreotypes. It was a man that wanted to prove that black people and white people derived from different species. So he paid a photographer to go take daguerreotypes. They were very fragile pictures and they are very expensive. These pictures prove that they were humans. They look like us. Like those people look exactly like us. Yeah, they do. Right? And they told them literally to never show us to anybody again after one person seen them because it proved that we were indeed humans, right? But y'all got rid of these, put them in a box because y'all never wanted nobody to see them. But now y'all fighting the black people, the families of these slaves, direct descendants, so that they cannot have them. Why do y'all want them if it is not obsession? Why would you spend money to keep them if it is not obsession? Y'all literally had them marked in a box to be thrown away, hidden in the attic.
Let us never forget that white people used to eat black people, and they call us savages, okay? Let us not forget that white people fed black babies and minority babies to alligators, but they say that we are monstrous people, okay? Let's not forget that white people eradicated damn near eradicated a whole species of animals, the buffaloes, just so people could not eat. Let's not confuse who the monsters are. Black people are human. We're humane. That is the only thing keeping white people where they're at because we have empathy. They do not. Who are the true monsters? You answer that.
Why is it every time I play the game and someone is racist, they are always racist towards black people, saying the N-word and shit? Why don't they ever be racist to other races? Why are people so obsessed with the black race?
Let's get into this. Is it not weird for centuries now, for decades, the obsession that people have with black women? It's all people to me, but specifically racist white women. It's like, woo, first of all, racist white women are very scary, right? Like, we already know that they're pretty much scary because it's like you can't even be in the park, in Central Park, bird watching. They'll call the cops on you. You can't be in 7-Eleven ordering a slushie. They're going to tell you to go back to Mexico. Just we see many. I don't like the term Karen. It gets overused, and then it gets and then what they do gets kind of like undervalued and thrown under the rug, and because then it's like, oh, it becomes laughable, and it really isn't. Calling cops on innocent people or being, what I'm saying, the reason why shit gets out of control. Like, if you look back in history, with the story of Rosewood, if you ever seen that movie, please go ahead and watch it. I'm especially talking to my younger generation that's going to watch this. Watch Rosewood. Listen, even To Kill a Mockingbird. just a lot of scenarios where you see, racist white women, the wives of racist white men, make up stories and lie, and that destroy towns, and that killed, that unalived people, that got people unalived and murdered, and cops called on, and cops brutalized, and, it's something about those racist white woman tears. And so, it's scary out here. And so when you see somebody like Laura Jigsaw Loomer, and I call her that because it's not given, right? And then she's so infatuated, and a lot of them are infatuated with Jasmine Crockett. It's like, sure, does she have some like black girl shit going on with her, Jasmine Crockett? Sure, because black people are not a monolith. We're not just one thing. We're educated, some are uneducated. No one person is just one thing, right? Not all white people are educated, but Jasmine Crockett is educated, and she's also a black woman, and sometimes we roll our neck, and sometimes we talk like this, and sometimes I got a degree, but I'm still going to talk like this because I want to talk how I talk. I talk how I talk, and we're tired of people telling us how to talk. Like, you guys are constantly telling black people, be professional, and you're not professional, and you're ghetto, but you have the most ghettoist president. And first and foremost, the term ghetto, is funny how you ascribe it to black people when the term ghetto wasn't even used for black people. It was used for Polish, Irish, and other immigrants, Italian immigrants that came over from, on Ellis, through the Ellis Island, and came over here and started the ghettos in New York City. So the fact that, like, black people, like I want us to be more intentional about looking up words and what they ascribe to us and what they shouldn't, right? So they coined us with that term ghetto, but that's not even how it started. So what if a black woman rolls her neck? Half of the videos, more than half of the videos that I see with white women when they're on here giving their dissertation or giving their, vlogs and their videos and they're influencing, got a neck roll. Tries to incorporate some type of black womanitude in their videos. So we're the most copied, most emulated, and like Malcolm X said, most disrespected. However, I laugh at that. I scoff at it. I laugh at it. It's comical. It's flattery. Imitation is a form of flattery. They try to emulate, but you know what I mean? Like, it's really out of control. I'm like, you guys literally just had a whole memorial service for your second coming, and Laura still found the time to go on a social media rant about Jasmine Crockett. Good God, how much space does Jasmine Crockett, take in y'all people's head? Because she out here, she being vocal, and you hate it. So you thought somebody like Jasmine Crockett, who was the center of Charlie Kirk's attention for a few of his rants, you know what I mean? He did not like her, of course, because she was a black outspoken representative who has a law degree and who is educated. You thought that she was gonna say, oh, woe is me about the situation? No, he attacked her. He said that she lacked the brain processing power. He also said,
can anybody explain to me why the 13% community is the only community?
Why is it any concern of yours? It seems like that one song to all you white people who get on here and make videos talking about black people. It's like, why are you so obsessed with me? I mean, was you dating a black woman who had multiple baby daddies and maybe the baby daddies tried to put their fist down your throat? I don't know. But I'm just asking, what's it to you? I mean, like, why is everybody getting on here with these videos that are anti-black, talking about a certain population of black people, but then telling us, hey, if you get mad, yeah, I'm going to get mad, because what business is it of you? What business? How is it hurting you if black women got more than one baby daddy? How is it hurting you if black people are in the hood or wherever they are killing each other? They're not killing you. The odds of a white person getting killed by a black person is very slim in this country. Very slim. But let's look at some statistics. Like T-Pain said, talk to me because I talk back because I'm going to talk back. Let's go to the year 2022, and these statistics are probably a little bit higher, 23, 24, and 25. So in year 2022 that is, there was 49,449 suicides. That's horrible. 39,255 was committed by white men. That's 76.6% of suicides by men. White men. But we don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about black on black crime. We'll get there in a minute. In that same year, 9,182 women committed suicide. Out of that 9,182, 6,894 was white women. That's 75.1%. Yeah, let's look at homicides that year. That year, we seen 22,395 homicides. 10,470 were black people. We know 91% of black people are unalived by black people. 8,142 was white people. And we know 85 to 90% of white people are unalived by white people. So it seems like we have an epidemic bigger than black people unaliving black people. Because if 39,000, let's say about 39 with 8, 47,000 white people unalived themselves in 2022. Where only 10,000 black people was unalived by someone else. So it seems like the bigger epidemic would be, why are white people unaliving themselves? And then if we come to 2025, and I didn't do it for every child, I just did it for children from the ages of 0 to 11. If we take children from the ages of 0 to 11, 0 to 11, we will find out that 22 children this year was the victims of a murder-suicide. And if you don't know what a murder-suicide is, that is when someone comes in, unalives like a child, or maybe their whole family, then unalives themselves. So 22 white children this year was the victims of murder-suicide. That's only between the ages of 0 to 11. We did not count teenagers. I did not count the wives or the husbands. So it seems like the epidemic is why do white women die from suicide more often than black men die from murder? But Charlie Kirk never talked about that. Meghan never talked about that. The Republicans never talked about that. Brandon Tatum, Andre Williams, ABL, Hodge twins, Antoine Davis, all of these people, Candace Owens, Fox News, all of these people who want to bring the smoke to black people. Why don't we talk about the fact that white people are the number one victims of homicide in this country? Because we're going to call suicide homicide. Suicide is when you basically kill yourself. So we're going to call it a homicide. And it seems like this is happening at their own hands. So when are we going to start talking about that? Or maybe should we cue the music? Why are you so obsessed with me? Everybody knows.
Have you guys seen that video that's going around of a black lad walking around in his neighborhood, and then he's being followed by a group of white people asking him why he's there? Because they particularly felt that he shouldn't be in this neighborhood. He repeatedly said to them, this is my neighborhood. They constantly following him and harassing him for being in that particular neighborhood. Now, this is a public road. Even if it wasn't his neighborhood, this is a public road. This is how scary, you have to be fearful of us, our black men, where they go. Because, anything could have happened here. He had his mobile phone and he filmed it. He was filming it. And there is this one man, he drove up in his car like Starsky and Hutch. Yes, I'm that old. I remember Starsky and Hutch.
Hello, brothers and sisters. You're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from now. It must be remembered that for the centuries, Western societies were built on racial hierarchies, and where whiteness was tied to privileges and dominance, Now, with this, most black people or blackness was associated with bad things. It was associated with poverty. It was associated with inconsistency and so many other things that you might want to talk about. Now, we are living in the 21st century, and things are really changing so fast. Now, most of the white folks, those who have been voting MAGA, those who have been voting to make US great again. And I really saw a clip from Jane Elliott, which was saying that the only way of making America great again is by doing the things that were being done back in 1951, in 1960s, where the black community was very much suppressed, was very oppressed. And for this one reason, most of the black people were not okay with the situations. They were living under so much oppression, And so in the 21st century, that some of the people who believed they were privileged, and some of the people whose hierarchy powers showed that they were supreme, they are now finding out that they're actually not supreme as they thought, because they thought that blackness meant exclusion. Blackness was associated with subjugation, and all these things are the things that have made the black community to be so resilient over time. They've always done their things with so much hard work. They have always been there building their culture, building their lives, using all the energies that they can gather, and it must be remembered that most of the white folks right now, I mean, some of them are feeling like they are losing their privileges, Most of them have been voting to have their privileges reinstated to them, because in the recent past, they have realized that the system is no longer working for them, and they feel like they have been excluded from the privileges they were getting. They are trying as much as they can to vote a candidate or to bring in a candidate who will revert and bring back the privileges they were enjoying. Now, let's not forget that some of the white people perceive black advancement as a direct threat to their own opportunities, status, or cultural dominance. And this is tied to scarcity mindset. Let you not forget that the idea that success for black people automatically means less for white people. Now, have you ever heard something called scarcity mindset? That people believe that if you progress, then I might not progress, that we cannot both progress at the same ratio or at the same level. So there is one who should be down and the other one to be up. And in this case, you all know that some of the white people felt like they should be up, and most of the black people should be down, so that they could serve as their slaves and work for them for years. It has been 400 years since the black community started working as slaves in most of the white countries after being taken from Africa and through transatlantic slave trade. Now, if these things continue happening and the people continue fearing that they are losing their white privileges because now they see the black advancement as a threat right now, most of the people who actually yearned to be very, very much wealthy, they knew they were going to get wealthy on the backs of the black people, that they are going to have free labor, that they are going to have cheap labor at the same time from the black community. But now here comes a point where the black community has started realizing that they can do things on their own. They can realize their dreams. They can bring their dreams together, and they can do all they can, to be stronger and maybe to build wealth. And this is serving as a direct threat to most of these white folks, that after they have voted all they can to suppress the black community, but the black community keeps on coming out to be strong. Now, they have done all they can in their powers, but the God of blacks has always done his part, and most of them are now crying out that, we are losing ourselves, that the fear in us of the black being wealthy or rich, it means they will start controlling us. They will take back all those rights and privileges that we took away from them. all the privileges that we've preserved for ourselves for all these years. Now, it is for these reasons that we are seeing most of them crying out on TikTok everywhere, trying as much as they can to gaslight the black community, to hear whatever the black community has to say about it. But most of the black community are now minding their own business. They ain't even talking about this same thing at the moment. Now, they are focusing on paying their mortgages, paying their loans on time, paying their bills on time, and making sure that their children go to good schools, they get the best education that they were denied while growing up. This is whatever I've always said that is going to make the black community great. Remember that the unity of the black community, the unit of purpose, not just uniting without a purpose, but when the black community decides to come together with purpose, they are going to achieve a lot. And that's whatever one thing the black community has never tried. We've cried, we've crumbled, we've asked for help from them, but we've never tried unity. This is the time we should try unity, actually. I'm very happy with the fact that the white fragility is coming out. It must be remembered that the sociologist Robin DiAngelo talked about these things. Now, he discussed about white fragility, and he said this is the act of defensiveness whenever the white community is confronted about racial things. Like, I mean, when the white community is confronted about things that really matter, about when people come together and racial equality. Now, he said that most of them will try as much as they can to gaslight the person asking or the person talking about the same thing. But let's remember one thing, that this white fragility is now out here. We can all see it, that most of them are coming out to their defense about how they love the black community, how they have black people who are the friends, all these things, But one thing still remains, that the black success is exposing the white insecurities, whatever they fear about the black community, and whatever they have not been able to share it out to the world. Now, most of them are coming out to expose insecurities in regard to white identity, and forcing a reckoning with history, with historical injustices that have been committed against the black community. Now, they have had unearned privileges, like they were born and they have had privileges because of their color, skin color, or because of their race. Now, this is really was done at the back or to the advantage. No, it was done because some privileges were taken out from the black community and they were given to the people who didn't really earn them. That's why I call them unearned privileges, that someone could just work in an office just because of their color and they could get a job without even properly going through the documents to verify if they qualify. And there is someone else who of a different color sitting there who has many qualifications. He has even overqualified, but they won't give that job to that person because they believe they shouldn't be having the job, And we have the media narrative and stereotypes that have always brainwashed the white community, as I've always said, that for generations, negative stereotypes about black people were enforced to justify inequality. Now, this includes saying the black community is very aggressive and they cannot be trusted, that they are drug dealers and all these other things, Yeah, I do believe there is no race or there is no group of people or a community of people which is very, very clean. We must have some people who are thieves. We must have some people who unalive others. We must have some people who deal with these, drugs and the rest. But you can't stereotype and say the whole community is bad. The whole community is very aggressive. Now, if talking about this, how many things or how many bad things have we been seeing happening over and over again in the white community? But do we just justify that and say that the whole white community is bad? No. Even there are those white folks who are very good, who have actually been fighting for racial justice and equality for the longest. We can talk for the likes of Tim Wise. We can talk for the likes of Jane Elliott. Now, if we've had such people still existing, now we cannot go call all the white folks that are racial, like they're racist and all that, We must be very, very careful on how we try to build narratives about communities or about groups of people. Not just because you hate them, so you go around doing these things that are not good, or because you just don't like them. That's very, very bad, When reality contradicts these stereotypes, maybe, let's say, for example, a black CEO or a black president now does well in life, and now people start thinking like, no, these black people are not that bad. Maybe we were told something that was not right. We must be very, very careful how we transact or how we project injustices to others. We must not fall to the same traps that were set by the same system that wanted us divided. When the black or when the brown and the black community are divided, now whatever is coming next, right? Whatever is going to happen. So, brothers and sisters, let's not allow ourselves to fall for the same traps, for the same things that were said for us, or for the same footprints that were left by the same systems that didn't value equality. So I really appreciate for you taking your time to watch this video. If it's your first time on this channel, please consider subscribing, sharing, and commenting on this video. Do not forget to like the video and to share it widely so that this message could also reach the rest of the people who are willing to change the narrative, who are willing to unite, and who are not willing to do things that the system wanted us to do. Thank you so much.